So a couple things to just distinguish a z-interval versus a t-interval. They both follow the inference toolbox just as we've gone over the 4 steps. Population parameter, the goal is to estimate mean. The conditions are the same. The only difference is in our calculations. Now, if sigma is known, we're going to do a z-interval like we've done so far. So you can see right here we have our critical value z with sigma over root n. Now, if sigma is unknown, we're going to do a t-interval. Now, to do a t-interval, you're going to need your degrees of freedom, which you can see how to use the table with that in the previous video. But you're going to see the general format is the exact same as it was before, except now we have a t here as our critical value. And the only real difference is that we've replaced sigma with s. If we know sigma, we're going to use it. That's the parameter. It's the most accurate calculated value. But if we don't know sigma, we have to use the next best thing, which is our sample standard deviation. And just like before, we're going to finish with our conclusion. Now I created this little chart just to show you the real differences between the two. Once again, you're going to notice the general format is the exact same. We have our z-interval over here. Critical value for z is found using table A, like we've done since chapter 2. And notice this is the formula for standard deviation of our sampling distribution like we did previously in chapter 9. Now if you go over here to our t-interval, our critical value t is found using table C, while our standard deviation now is called the standard error. It's called the standard error because the fact we have s here rather than sigma, there's automatically going to be some error involved in this value, this whole value. So we call it the standard error rather than the standard deviation. Now I do want to just remind you that this whole plus or minus portion, this whole piece right here, including of the critical value, that whole thing is our margin of error. This is our standard error. The whole piece is our margin of error. So if you're asked for those two different things, they are different values. All right, hope that helps.